Hello, spooky crew. Our tote bag drawing is officially closed, and we just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who entered. We are so grateful for the love and the support, and we have loved reading your reviews. Missed the tote? No worries. We're still sending out high-quality vinyl stickers while supplies last. Just email us proof of your rating and review along with your mailing address to thespookydarlings@gmail.com, and we'll get one headed your way. Quick promise, your address is only for mailing the sticker. No emails, no selling info, no funny business, just spooky gratitude. Thanks again for supporting the show. You are the reason we do this.
You're listening to The Spooky Darlings, where three sisters talk about mysterious and unexplainable creatures. I'm Haley.
I'm Nettie.
I'm Emily.
And Nettie, will you tell us about our sticker promotion?
Yes. Before we jump into the cryptids today, we've got something fun for you. We're running a little promo to say thank you for supporting the show. If you leave us a written review, we'll mail you a free Spooky Darlings water bottle sticker. All you have to do is send us a screenshot of your review or your username and platform you listen on, along with your mailing address to thespookydarlings@gmail.com. Plus, everyone who leaves a review during this promo will also be entered into a drawing for a free Spooky Darlings canvas tote bag. It's our way of sending you a little spooky love. All right, who's starting us off today?
Well, today we're doing Connecticut cryptids. And Emily, will you get us started?
I certainly will. Okay, so I will tell you today about the Connecticut cryptid called the Old Saybrook Blockheads, also known as the Saybrook Blockheads case.
Ooh.
So, the star witness in our story is named Mary Starr. Such a fitting name, right? So,
Yes.
Mary was a retired school teacher with 2 degrees from Yale University. She had a summer cottage near the Long Island Sound, like just a few hundred feet from the Long Island Sound, and she often stayed there into the off season. So there weren't very many neighbors around. But so she went to bed on December 15th, 1957. She went to
Oh,
bed.
it's a Christmas story.
It is a Christmas story. She went to bed at around 10 p.m., but she was awakened around between 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock a.m. by a bright light in her room. So she looked out her window. At first, she thought she saw a downed airplane or some kind of aircraft, but she realized quickly that it was a hovering object above her clothesline in the backyard near the house in the tool shed.
Oh my goodness.
She estimated that the craft was 20 to 30 feet in length, and it was hovering about 5 feet above ground level. It had square or rectangular porthole windows.
Huh?
The object was described as being dark gray or black or a dull bluish gray when under certain lighting, with no obvious wings or fins or protruding appendages, at least, none that were visible that she could see. So through the windows of the craft, she saw 2 figures, and then later a third came into view, but the beings appeared to be small, like about 4 feet tall. Their right arms were raised.
So children.
They could have been children.
Scary children.
Their right arms were raised as if they were gesturing or holding something, but they didn't have any visible fingers that she could speak of.
Oh.
Their bodies were described as being like a rubbery or flared out in kind of a bell shape or like a skirt-like shape. It was kind of an odd.
So it wasn't clothing. It was like their actual body shape.
Yes, it was their actual body shape. And where one would expect to see a head, like in a human type body, she described a transparent cube-shaped thing.
What?
So it was like a clear, almost looks like a block of ice, but in the center, there is a luminous reddish orange bulb that kind of pulsates light.
This is not
Holy shit.
When you told me you were doing the Blockheads, this is not at all what I was expecting. Not one single part of the story that you have said so far was anything I possibly could have imagined.
No.
Yeah, so this cube head is what eventually gave rise to the name Blockheads. And I wonder, like, our parents called us not our parents. Our mother never called us names mostly, but our father called us Blockheads a lot growing
Yes.
up. Is this
Among other
from that,
things.
or was what? Yes. among other things. I wonder if Blockhead was like a name that was used before. I should have looked into that.
What was
and
the
just kind of
year?
wondering out loud. This was in 1957.
Because Lucy called Charlie Brown a blockhead all the time. And I don't know what year the Peanuts cartoons came out, but that might have been like one of the first like widely used.
Because he also had a bell-shaped body.
But not.
Maybe this was just a Charlie Brown sighting.
Oh,
We don't know.
But he definitely did not have a blockhead. He was just called one. Oh. But I think you are right about his body shape.
As the third figure appeared in the window that she was, the window of the craft, she leaned forward to observe more, at which point the portholes vanished and the craft began to glow intensely.
Oh my goodness.
An antenna, about 6 inches or so in length, sprouted from one side of the craft and sparkled or pulsated with red light. And after glowing for a period of perhaps around 5 minutes, I'm sure that time was difficult to gauge in this experience, the antenna retracted and the craft's hull changed appearance to like a dulled gray blue. And then the craft began to move, first retracing its path, making a sharp right angle turn, and then shooting upward at a high speed into the sky. She said that it was like almost like a zigzag, kind of like a crazy weird path. And she was shocked that it was able to leave her yard without hitting her spruce trees or her shed or her clothesline or anything. So it was kind of expertly maneuvered out of her space.
So definitely like a UFO.
Sounds like it. And so then it shot upward at a high speed into the sky, silently, with no sound, no engine sound, nothing. And she was amazed. And then on its departure, she noticed small circular lights along the rim of the bottom. And the craft shape was said to shift from like a cigar shape to more elliptical. This is what she described.
Cigar-shaped UFOs are common.
Wow.
So
do you think the blockheads, like the cubes, were a helmet?
So some people
of some
say
kind?
it could have been a helmet. I mean, I don't know what the purpose is of having a helmet over a pulsing red. I mean, maybe just the block part was the helmet, and then the pulsing red thing was like their brain. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it could have just been like what they used to be in our atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
So for context, in the weeks leading up to her sighting, there were alleged reports of reddish lights or objects over that region, like in the marsh and coastal area. Some sources claim that up to 40 such objects were reported in the weeks leading up to this sighting. But the night of her claim, like I said earlier, the other houses in her neighborhood were pretty much all unoccupied. So she was the only active witness.
Okay.
So, but because of her high level of education and because of her reputation in the community, she is considered a credible witness. So, like, it's not a story
me.
that
you would be, Haley. You would be.
So this case is sometimes classified as a close encounter of the third kind. I know normally we are not talking about aliens when we talk about cryptids, but this one did show up on our list of Connecticut cryptids, so I felt totally justified in using this one. But
Wait, I
so
remember
I don't know if
there's
you guys
like different classifications of like close encounters, and then there's that movie of the fourth kind, and it's like degrees of experience with. Are you going to talk about that?
Well, no, so I don't know
Okay.
what the 4 different ones are, but I do know that the third kind, which is what this is classified as, is officially a UFO with occupants observed.
Okay.
So that's but if anybody wants to do a quick little like search and see what the first, second,
Give
and
it a
fourth
goog.
kinds are,
Haley will.
that
Give it a goog.
I'm totally open to that. But so this is classified as a close encounter of the third kind. And I think there was a movie called A Close Encounter of the Third Kind.
There
Was
is
one
Close
called The
Encounters
Fourth Kind?
Of the fourth kind.
No. Okay, there's a movie called Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and then there's a movie called The Fourth Kind.
Okay.
So Close Encounters of the Third Kind is the one where that music, where they communicate.
Yeah, where it
with.
goes. Ba-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, see,
Is that right?
Emily, it makes me wonder if you are possibly one of the third kinds that you remember that melody so well.
I only remember it because the lovely Erica Badu talked about it in her
she's
Instagram
livid.
that I'm obsessed with. About how she wants it too much. She's like, I even stand out there singing the song.
The fourth kind was that crazy, like, found footage. I'm doing that in quotes. Movie that I thought was real.
Yes, with
for a while.
Who is the actress in that?
Mila Jovovich.
Okay, so here's the encounters. If we want to hear them,
I do.
Yes,
okay,
please.
So close encounters of the first kind, visual sighting of a UFO, and then so go to the second kind, which is UFOs with physical evidence. The third kind, UFOs with visible occupants, which you said, Emmy. The fourth kind, abduction of humans by aliens.
Betty and Barney Hill.
And the fifth kind, direct voluntary communication between humans and aliens.
Oh.
So there's 5 classifications of close encounters. Emily,
Fascinating.
thank you for bringing us to this. I want to hear the rest of your story.
Yes. So Mary felt a little shy about sharing her encounter. She told close friends about it, but she didn't report it or file any kind of official report immediately after. But her friends urged her to. So it wasn't until, and this isn't super long after, because it was December of 1957 that she had this experience, and then it was sometime in 1958 that she actually filed an official report on it. So one of the things, I mean, so when there's a single witness with no corroboration, sometimes it's difficult to verify, right? Because there's no way to corroborate it. There's nobody else. So there's no like actual documentation, but like in UFO and paranormal circles, people were like pretty jazzed about this. And then also like this, one thing that people cite as like a kind of anomalous thing where like it kind of makes them question her account is this cube-shaped transparent head with the glowing core. It's not a common description of aliens.
No, I've never heard of it.
To me, it's like if she was trying to fabricate something, why would she come up with such a fantastical, something totally different story?
Yeah, people usually talk about the Greys or the Pleiadians.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't have the internet then, so I don't know if she knew what other people were describing, but this is what she described, and that kind of does add scrutiny to her story.
Or credibility, according to me. Okay, go.
So, like, just also the fact that she didn't report it right away makes some people kind of question her memory and credibility. But just to kind of give a counterpoint to that claim that she was the only person that witnessed this. And this was so interesting because I was trying to look up the Blockheads and just see if there was any like additional information aside from these like initial main accounts. There was one guy that wrote about it in a UFO publication, which was called, let me tell you the name of it, the 1959 issue of the Civilian Saucer Intelligence of New York. It's a newsletter that no longer exists, but publication number 25, this, a man wrote about her experience in 1967 in the UK. Philip Freeman and Angela Carter, and I know this is supposed to be Connecticut.
This is just
Cryptids.
10 years after her experience.
This is
57
10 years
to
later.
67. Okay.
And don't forget, people don't have the internet at this time, so nobody's like really hearing about this stuff. And these two, Philip Freeman and Angela Carter, they were age 22 and 20. They were not like into the paranormal or into UFOs or anything like that. They didn't believe in aliens. But late at night on November 13th, 1967, so nearly 10 years after, they were driving from Surrey in the UK, and they were taking back roads from Cranley to Shearer. So they were trying to take a faster route. So they were on these dark back roads without any lights and without really any other traffic. It was chilly. Their car hadn't really heated up, and their windows started to fog. So he hops out to try to like wipe the windshield, which did make me kind of like have question marks in my eyeballs because wouldn't you wipe the inside of your windshield? But he hopped out to try to wipe the outside. Maybe he didn't know how condensation works.
Frost.
So he hops out to try to wipe his windshield, and he smells this terrible odor like bad eggs or a stink bomb.
Oh,
and apparently, did you know
demons.
that is very commonly reported with alien encounters?
Yes, because we talked about it in a previous episode.
Did we now?
Yes, we sure did.
So Philip's like, ew, gross. And,
In the
Angela
Black Eyed
smells it
Kids
too.
episode, we
That's
talked
right.
about it. Yes.
So Philip got back in the car and looked over, and he saw a figure outside of the passenger window where Angela was sitting with a squarish 8x10. So it was maybe more rectangular. 8x10 is what he estimated was the dimension. 8x10 shape where a head should be, no visible facial features like an eyes or nose or mouth that you would expect on a humanoid. But it was a blank white cube type shape with a soft glow and a right arm reaching up. Did I mention earlier that Mary Starr said that they each had a right arm reaching up?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Like this. So glowing cube head, right arm reaching up. He looks terrified. Angela sees the look of fear on his face and like she froze. She wouldn't look behind her. Like she didn't.
Yeah.
She smelled the smell, but she didn't look behind her.
Oh my gosh.
So they took off as quickly as they could. And in the rearview mirror, he noted that there was this, it was the weirdest shape, like a bell-shaped body, right arm up, cube glowing head.
I wonder if the right arm up was like, hi.
Maybe. You're doing the Spock hand, but they didn't have fingers.
Here. Hi.
Spock hand.
Yeah, like the live long and prosper. So, and I can show you guys, and I'll put these on the Instagram, but I need to show you the pictures that they independently drew and then later compared to Mary Starr's pictures.
Whoa.
This right here is the picture that Angela and Philip drew.
Oh, wow.
That's very different than what I was thinking.
I really want to see a blockhead myself.
So,
yeah.
Oh, actually, this is the actual picture that Mary Starr drew.
Wow.
Oh, so when you say right arm up, I was picturing like elbow bent, but their right arm up is just straight up, like sticking out like a beacon almost.
I guess so. So anyway, it's a known thing that happened in Connecticut, and maybe possibly the same thing happened in the UK.
Wow.
And it does make me wonder a little bit about the way we describe things and how, like, just because I had such a hard time. And actually, let me just tell you something interesting. When I had such a hard time finding things about blockheads outside of Connecticut until I found that TikTok. And then it was just because they had used a completely different word for it. So they called that one the Spectre of Winterfold. That's the name of that one. The Spectre of Winterfold is what Philip Freeman and Angela Carter.
What could we call this that will make people know exactly what we're talking about? Of Winterfold.
But when I searched for, so I found this TikTok from Insomnia Society, which I also watched their YouTube, which was really interesting. That kind of a little bit tied these two together. I tried to do a Google search for Blockheads UK, and all I could come up with was a band called Ian Drury and the Blockheads, and they sing a really bizarre song called Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick.
Oh.
And it sounds like a joke out of like Spinal Tap or something.
Gosh.
So it took me down this weird little rabbit hole where I was listening to this song and I was like, Emily, focus. I've got to finish this research this morning.
You're like, I just found the best band ever.
We do demand that you send that song to us.
Oh, I'm about to. Get ready. It's weird.
You should use that song.
Well, that song was actually, so this is a weird little increment of decades. So it was 1957 for Mary's experience, 1967 for the UK experience, and then 1977 is the song Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick.
What?
I'm not even going to say what a rhythm stick sounds like.
It sounds sexual is what I want to say.
Oh, I thought it sounded percussive.
It does sound, I mean, you know.
Sure.
A little like, just a little bit like Spinal Tap is all I need to say.
I agree.
So that's it for the Connecticut and possibly UK Blockheads.
Oh my
Emily,
goodness.
that was so good.
I'm fascinated. I want to learn more. And I wonder if they're in my book because I did not delve past the cryptid I chose in this book.
So much to learn.
Well, speaking of your book, do you want to tell us about your cryptid?
Do. All right. So I got this book, and I'll show a picture of this book and credit the author. And this is where I got the majority of my information, not for lack of trying to find information elsewhere, because I did try. I did actually find a YouTube video too, and I'll post that on the link that was Legends of New England podcast.
In our source notes?
In our source notes, yep. And I'll put this Connecticut Cryptids by Patrick Scalisi, and Valerie Ruby-Omen is the illustrator. And when I ordered this book because I knew we were doing Connecticut Cryptids, and I just thought it looked really fun, and there's so much information. And as I was leafing through, I immediately saw the word mermaid, and my little 8-year-old girl heart had to snag this one to be the cryptid that I wanted to research because, who doesn't love mermaids? And I'd also like to dedicate this to my daughter Lorelei, who woke us up one morning when she was a little child screaming, and Brett and I were so alarmed. He jumped out of bed and went in to figure out what was going on into our girls' room. And I was, I would think I had a newborn with me in bed and was feeding the newborn. So I was trying to get and then Brent just comes in with this look and he goes, Mimi just told Lola mermaids weren't real. That was why we woke up to a scream. So,
oh my gosh.
So Lorelei, I'm dedicating this section of this podcast to you because it turns out mermaids might be real. Okay. So there is a 200-year-old lighthouse in Connecticut on the Housatonic River. It's called the iconic Stratford. Well, it's actually called the Stratford Point Lighthouse, but it is iconic.
Yes, I'll live there with you, all three of us.
It is still standing and still has people staying in it.
They need to move out. We're moving in.
Okay, let's do it. I like it. So it has been there. It's been guiding people for years, and there was one particular lighthouse keeper. His name was Theodore Judson, Captain Theodore Judson. And according to the podcast that I listened to a snippet of, he went by Theed.
Oh,
Theed Judson. And so there are varying accounts. One of them is Theed lived there alone and was kind of known to be a little bit cuckoo because of all of the things he saw or claimed to see. Another account said he lived there with his wife and children, and that he actually sort of beat the kind of rumored odds of lighthouse keepers, sort of that story that lighthouse keepers go insane. There's movies made about it and lots of lore about just going nuts living in a lighthouse. So according to this book, he had a daughter named Agnes who lived with him. He had a wife. I didn't get his wife's name, but his daughter was actually held in high regard because in 1897, she swam out to sea and rescued 2 men from drowning. As I think she was just a teenager in her early 20s. So a young woman. So she was sort of given a lot of credibility in town. And the town loved him so much that when Theodore was notified by whatever, the Lighthouse Commission or whoever's in charge of that kind of stuff, that he and his family were going to be relocated to another lighthouse, the community actually stood up and protested so much that they let him keep his post. So he was really popular. So his transfer was canceled. And that was in 1914. Then on a Monday, and again, varying reports, one source said July 4th, 1904. This book said August 15th, 1904. So, nice summery day, regardless of the date. So Theodore is out there working, doing his thing, and he suddenly heard singing coming from the sea. And he said it was unusual because it didn't sound like any singing he'd ever heard before. So he perked up his ears and he went to investigate. So first, he was like, is there someone in a boat coming in? What's going on? Where's this coming from? It sounds so strange. He also said it sounded angelic. Ooh. So as he went out and looked, he found the source of this angelic voice. And he said it was coming from a mermaid. On the rocks below him was perched a mermaid. And what he described sounds like the mermaids of storybooks. He said it was a beautiful woman with long golden hair, and that she sat on the rock singing and brushing her long hair.
What?
Yes. Not like what we see, that's our fairy tale children, childlike stories of mermaids. But anything you've seen, if you've seen recent mermaid lore, is that they actually are kind of a little bit terrifying looking, with huge eyes and kind of scary faces. And they're very humanoid, at least on the top half. But he basically described a fairy princess mermaid. So also from Connecticut is a very famous person, P.T. Barnum. known as like the Barnum and Bailey's circus person. P.T. Barnum famously had what he's called the Fiji mermaid, which was a mummified, what he claimed was a mermaid that he would carry around and charge money for people to see this mummified mermaid. And P.T. Barnum had famously said...
I prefer Barman.
P.T. Barman, great last name. P.T. Barnum had famously said that he would give, one report said 20,000, one report said 50,000, but a lot of money, especially for the early 1900s, to anyone who could capture him a real mermaid. So when Theed saw this mermaid down below, he was like, I am going to catch it. I'm going to go get it. So he knew the land well. He did this little back around. He knew exactly where he could go, where he could get out to the outcropping of rocks where the mermaid was perched. So he crept up to her. He went from rock to rock. He was getting closer and closer. And he later said, like it's quoted that he said, "No muse I ever heard so enchanted me." That was what was in the newspapers.
Wonder how his wife felt about it.
Well, who knows? I mean, she actually, well, I'll tell you later. I'll tell you more about her later. But so he creeps up and he reaches out and he actually grabs the mermaid around the waist. And he said she was small, like 4 feet tall, probably weighed 75 pounds, but exactly like the shape, like the top half shaped of like a human woman. So he grabbed her around the waist. The mermaid let out a scream, struggled so fiercely that she was able to get away from his grasp. She whipped her tail around and cut him on his chin. And he showed the cut on his chin to people as proof. She then swam away really, really fast. He said like so fast through the water, but she left behind the hairbrush. So he took the hairbrush and he kept that as proof that he had seen a mermaid brushing her hair. And this hairbrush looked exactly like any human woman's hairbrush, except that it had oysters engraved on the outside of the casing. And Theed theorized that the mermaids got their hairbrushes and combs from wrecked ships, like went into the staterooms of wrecked ships and collected things.
Kind of like in The Little Mermaid when she almost gets her hips stuck trying to get through that tiny little circular window with Flounder.
Kind of like that.
Okay, so just back to Theed and his misdeed. I do feel like strategically, if you were trying to grab any type of fish creature that had hair, why would you go for that slippery waist?
Good question.
Why wouldn't you grab her by the hair?
Yeah. He said that he bound and snagged her around the waist. I just wonder if that was the smallest point. If he was like, I'll just grab her there and hook her, like, in his arms.
I'm just saying, like having tried to hold onto a live fish before, it's going to be like, whoa, 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 whoa. It's slippery.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a very good question.
Thank you.
Well, so he got the brush and he decided to display it at the lighthouse, and that was for anyone who doubted his story. Now, he actually claimed to see mermaids several times after that. And he said that usually he would see them in groups of 12 to 15, but not ever at that same point exactly where he had seen it before, right up by the lighthouse, but he could see them from the lighthouse. And his wife, Kate, so we do know his wife's name is Kate. His wife, Kate, corroborated his story and said that she saw the groups of mermaids, and also his assistant named Will Petzold saw the mermaids. So two adults corroborated his story.
That's awesome.
You can tell that these mermaids knew that he was handsy and, he would make unwelcome advances. That's why they came in groups of 12 to 14, safety in numbers. Ladies, use numbers.
Yes.
Like stay with your friends. Buddy plus, you never know who's going to try to grab you by the waist and capture you.
Yeah. Luckily, not by the hair. He might have been more successful.
Yeah.
Unless your hair is real slippery. Who knows? Mermaid hair is probably slippery.
Stay slippery if you want to get out of the grasp.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which actually, flopping like a fish, if someone does try to grab you, is super effective. If you just go dead body weight and flop around, they have a hard time.
You're going to have a real hard time.
Yeah. So, Theodore also had reports of seeing a sea serpent that he said was 200 feet long in the same strait, which is a different Connecticut cryptid that was also cited by several other people. So I won't delve into that, but he also was reported as seeing that. And he was in his 70s when he finally retired. But he bought a house next to the lighthouse. So he stayed in that lighthouse and up until he was 70 years old, and then bought a house where he could still have the same view because he wanted to watch for mermaids. He wanted to watch for them.
Because he loves mermaids.
He did. He did. And he died in 1935 and said that he never changed his story. He was kind of famously known in his death notice or in his obituary in the paper. He was called a raconteur of salty tales, but friends who would gather to listen to his stories could never get him to retract the mermaid tale. He stood by it and said he really, really saw it. Yeah. So I really thought that was a great story. However,
yes,
I tried to look up, has anyone else seen mermaids in that area? And mostly what I come up with is not necessarily from Connecticut or from that lighthouse point, but people from ships around the area have had encounters with singing creatures in the sea that they think were mermaids, that were making really weird wailing sounds.
Oh, wow.
So interesting.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's really fascinating.
Well, and just how little we know about the ocean and all of that. I know that fake documentary came out from like who was it? Discovery, and it was like an April Fool's prank.
Yeah, but it was good.
It was really good, and I was just like, yes, I love this. Mermaids are real.
He did.
That was fake. Dang it.
I know.
Well, some of it was.
Right.
Well, Theodore did say the only thing that ever changed in his story is that he said at first when he grabbed her, his original tale was that she screamed, but he later told people she hissed.
Ooh.
When he grabbed her.
Oh,
so
okay.
Which was it? Was it a hissing noise?
And I wonder, like, was she singing in English? Like,
he said angelic, but like nothing he'd ever heard.
Okay.
So I don't know.
So maybe not a language that he recognized.
Well, I'm guessing just notes like, wow.
Well, and like the way whales talk to each other.
Wow. Wow, you've got such a mermaid sound.
I really hope that this song isn't copyrighted by mermaids and I'm going to get sued.
You know what?
They're
I'm
furious.
sorry to tell you, but you sound a lot more like a seagull, just from my own personal Little Mermaid experience.
But if we think about how like whales communicate with each other, that like kind of whoa like sounds, that wasn't very good, but
That's exactly how Dory does it in Finding Nemo, and I think it was excellent.
thank you. You know I love Dory.
So it is theorized when Theodore retired in 1921, his assistant took over, and his assistant never reported seeing any mermaids. But because that was also the time of the Great Depression, that port, that area became a lot less busy. So he theorized that there just weren't as many sunken ships for mermaids to collect treasures from. So they moved on to a different place where there would be more treasures to collect.
Ooh.
Which makes perfect sense to me. They moved to a busier part of the coastline.
Wow.
Are there pictures of the oyster hairbrush?
No. So that is a good question, Emily. The oyster hairbrush, no one knows where it is. Everyone saw it. So many people saw it. It was in the lighthouse for years. But nowadays, no one knows.
Wow.
Nobody.
Yeah, I'm guessing someone was like, why does father hold on to things? He's such a hoarder.
Man,
This is going straight into the dustbin.
that would be so interesting to find that hairbrush.
It would be. I'd love to
It doesn't make the list of Thede's needs.
Yes.
the list of what?
Thede's needs.
Yes, Thede's needs. Yes.
And his knees.
Thede's
Yes.
needs. Theo's neos. You just decide what you call him. So yeah, that's basically the story of the Lordship Mermaids, and they are under the category of cryptids called aquatic cryptids.
I did not know there was a category for that, and I love it.
Yes, there is. Isn't that fascinating? So Theodore Judson,
I love it.
he's not the mermaid. He's the one that saw the mermaid.
We didn't get her name.
But two other people saw the mermaid as well. So corroborated indeed. And the serpent, which I didn't delve into very much, was seen by many, many people.
Corroborated indeed, and corroborated in feed.
Need.
Knees.
All right, Haley, what have you got for us? I'm so excited. Oh, did you guys want to see a picture of the beautiful picture of the mermaid that was illustrated by this authoress, by the illustrator Valerie? I won't say authoress. That's a dumb word.
You can keep it.
This is the picture by Valerie Ruby-Omen. Here, I'll show you.
Cute.
And then I'll hold it close to Emily.
Yeah, and then just take a picture of it for me for the Instagram. Oh, she's got black
she's
eyes.
also boobies out.
Boobies.
No
out.
seashells covering those tatas.
We might just put like a little smiley over it, or maybe like a little fish emoji
seashell.
over it.
Yeah.
But I think nipples are allowed on Instagram and TikTok.
If they're drawn?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah. I just wonder what the skin texture is, because if you're living in water full time, your skin would have to be different than human skin. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah, they don't want pruny hands.
He didn't say anything, like, because he grabbed her around the waist, which you would think would be the humanoid part of the body, but he didn't say anything about like the texture of her skin being different, just that she was slippery.
I'm picturing like shark skin
Me too.
kind of texture,
Kinda rough.
like a black-eyed kid or a shark.
Like the shark-eyed kids with their strange skin. Yeah. Could be.
Could
yeah.
be. Mermaids could be aliens.
I do wonder if mermaids are aliens. And also, like, mermaids were sighted by several explorers. Christopher Columbus reported to seeing mermaids. A bunch of people, and a lot of people said Christopher Columbus saw manatees. But when he was told that, he said, I'm a seaman. I've seen manatees. I know what manatees look like. What I saw was not a manatee. And his ship people, whatever you call it, crew, said that they were mermaids as well.
They all said the same thing.
Yeah. Not a manatee. So I don't know. And there were others too. They're just not coming to mind. Magellan, is that an explorer?
I think so.
I bet he saw mermaids. What about Archibald? Ferdinand?
Crane.
I'm just going to say names.
Kidding.
Archibald
Crane.
Perseus?
Perseus? All of those famous explorers. Cortez? I'm pretty sure he saw a mermaid. No proof. Just going by, thoughts, memories.
Go by vibes.
Yeah.
I think he did.
But Christopher Columbus for sure, 100% reported seeing one.
Nice. Well,
All right, Haley.
definitely different than mermaids. I've got the black dog of the hanging hills.
Dun, dun, dun.
And so, black dog of the hanging hills is described as a small, shaggy, jet black, and completely silent. No barking, no growling, just eerie, watchful eyes.
Ooh.
It appears to hikers and climbers in the rugged hanging hills near Meriden, Connecticut. And here is a chilling part. And we have heard this before with another cryptid. See it once,
Ooh.
good luck follows.
Oh.
See it twice, misfortune strikes.
Oh.
See it 3 times, death is near.
That is like the snoffus.
Mm-hmm.
The beautiful snoffus.
Beautiful snoffus. And so this story is tied to 9th century geologists who documented their encounters. One, W.H.C. Pynchon, wrote about it in 1891. Another geologist he was working with had met with the dog multiple times, and that second man fell to his death while climbing not long after.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. Where is the Hanging Hills? Is that considered part of a mountain range or?
Nettie, that is a great question that I did not look into. Does somebody want to Google
I
it?
should not have asked you to do that work.
No, would you please Google it?
Yes, I'll Google it.
You or Emily.
I got it. I'll give it a Google.
Okay.
In case you're curious if it could possibly just be Black Panthers, there are no Black Panthers in Connecticut.
Okay.
In case you thought maybe somebody was saw a Black Panther and was like, hey, black doggy, you're so silent. No, it's not possible.
Not even. Black Panthers are beautiful and scary.
The Hanging Hills is a mountain range. It's the name of the mountain range.
Mountain range. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
I'm sorry. They're part of the Metacomet Ridge. Okay. Go.
Okay. So the black dog is tied to the idea of an omen spirit. And we have heard of these kinds of like black dogs in other folklore, like in Europe, in England, and like Scotland also has some like of those black dogs.
The
omen
cryptid
of death.
I did in the Alaskan cryptid I did, the Keelut was a black dog. Remember with the metallic skin?
Yeah, and so it's usually like an omen of death, and it has been it's like a known folklore cryptid symbolizing the underworld. As we know, there's that 3-headed dog that helps guard the underworld with the river Styx. What's the Hades?
Hades.
Yes, and in some ways, it could feel like the legend is kind of transported from England and from like older cultures.
Ooh. So East Coast.
So if you're hiking in the Hanging Hills and you spot a black dog, hope you don't see it thrice.
Yeah. Wait,
or twice.
Or twice, because,
I hope you only see it once.
So it does not make a sound.
Is silent, and like hikers have reported just like suddenly there is this black dog just walking beside them that they just did not notice.
It's not like abnormally large or anything. So normal size.
It is a black dog. It's like on the smaller size of an average sized dog, but it's black, shaggy hair, and just doesn't make a sound.
Crazy.
So
hope we don't run into that.
That is my very short, very shallow dive into the black dog of the Hanging Hills.
I thought it was a wonderful dive.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm curious what it would look like in my book. Do you guys
I
mind if I
it's
look
in there? I don't mind
at
at
it?
all. And if it has extra information, because I really had just like Jason and I were so busy yesterday, I really just threw it together so quickly last night.
Girl, I get you.
So do you know anything about what differentiates this black dog from like another dog with black fur? Like what do you know anything about that?
That it is just part of that folklore. So I don't think that it's necessarily separate from those other stories of black dogs, that like it's very similar where it can mean an omen of death. So I want to say it's just part of it.
I mean, I didn't feel like I didn't know about other stories. I just meant like, people sometimes have dogs that are black that could be running around.
It could also just be one of those.
I just didn't.
Did you say that
Emily,
it was
so possible?
Did you say that it was first reported in the 1898?
I had 1891. In my research, and it was by author W.H.C. Pynchon.
Oh yeah. Well, this says 1898 Pynchon. That's weird. So funny how you can get different dates. Yeah.
Yeah. I think just like people telling the story over and over again, people can get it mixed up. So maybe it was 1898 instead.
Yes. That's so crazy though, because it's like they were hiking, apparently Hanging Hills. You always think hill, you think like gentle, but it's like cliffs. It's like kind of a dangerous mountain range.
Okay.
And yeah, when you said that he fell to his death, it was like he was climbing, snow and ice fell away underneath him. He was doing like ice climbing, according to this.
After he saw the dog 3 times.
Yeah. So here's the picture, the sketch that our artist did, Valerie. Ruby-Omen. Oh, yeah, I'm showing you first.
Oh, you showed me, and I see it, and I love it.
Oh, that is a cute dog.
And guess what? It's the cover of the book.
Aw.
The Black Dog of Hanging Hills is the cover of the book. And I think when you look up Connecticut cryptids,
I want to say it's like their like state cryptid.
yeah, it's kind of the top one. Like if you're just Connecticut cryptid, the first one that comes up is Black Dog of Hanging Hills.
Yeah. And it's just like mostly hikers and like people obviously outside that have come upon this dog. And then just, over time, the lore of, oh, I saw it twice and I had bad luck afterwards.
Yeah, but what's bad luck? Like I burnt my pizza pocket.
Nettie, that's horrible luck.
I know.
Or like I decided to do a super dangerous sport like ice climbing and I
fell to my death.
Ice climbing in the spring when everything's melting. Yeah, but it's been 100 years of reports of seeing him, and they say that he'll follow them along and generally be a good boy.
Yeah, because he's quiet.
I would be like looking for the dog. If I was on a hike and a cute little black dog came up and like followed me and was just so great.
But then on any other hike, you'd be like, oh, I can't.
No, I'd
can't
be like,
see the
where's
dog
that
covering
Where's
your
that good
face."
boy? Because I wouldn't know the lore. Well, I know it now.
Now you know it.
but I'd just be like, where's that good boy?
So that's it. That's a
Wow.
wrap.
Nice job, Haley. I loved
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah.
And Emily, you close us out.
Yes. Thank you so much for listening to the Spooky Darlings. And don't forget about our sticker promotion. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at the Spooky Darlings podcast. And if you have questions, corrections, comments, or spooky stories of your own, please send them over to thespookydarlings@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this episode, please take just a few seconds to rate, review, and follow wherever you listen to your podcasts. It really helps us grow and keeps the spooky stories coming. Stay spooky, darlings.
Goodbye.
5 stars.
Nailed it.
We did it.
Gore rolls. That was so good. Oh, I forgot to hit record. I'm just kidding. I remembered. That would have been so funny.
You would have been hilarious just now.
Before we disappear into the shadows, don't forget, we're still sending out vinyl stickers. Leave us a rating and review and email us proof to thespookydarlings@gmail.com, along with your mailing address, and we'll send you some spooky snail mail while supplies last. And if your heart is still mourning that tote bag, may we gently tempt your way toward our merch store at thespookydarlings.printful.me. Treat yourself. You deserve it. Thanks for listening. And as always, stay spooky.